Hello guys, this is Anastasia, and as always we will be covering a very interesting topic. Of course it will be IT related, so if you are interested, keep watching. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you do not miss any new videos. The automated testing market is one of the fastest growing in IT industry. By 2024, its volume will reach $30 billion. At this time, more and more companies are hiring multidisciplinary engineers so they can accompany the product throughout the whole life cycle. Today, we will talk about the most senior role in test automation. This is SDET. And also we're gonna cover why companies need them. Who is SDET? SDET is a software developer engineer in test. This person combines skills of a developer, tester, and DevOps. He takes part in the entire release cycle, and he can even play a role of a reviewer on the design of software architecture. Pretty much, SDET is a QA engineer who've decided to grow in a more technical direction. If the difference between the functional manual tester and SDET is more or less clear, then the difference between SDET and automation engineer is not so obvious. Usually, SDET are needed for development of auto test, organizing CI/CD pipelines, developing a unified library which is used on numerous projects, development and optimization of architectural solutions for test projects. Each company has its own requirements for SDET. For the first time, software development engineer in test was introduced at Microsoft back in early 2000s, while Google came up with their own name for this role, software engineer in test. Now, such specialists are hired by a lot of large companies such as Facebook, GitLab, Amazon, and many more. The demand of a SDET position is pretty high. However, analyze the vacancy market, it is pretty difficult to draw such conclusion. The number of vacancies for this position on major job search resources is surprisingly small. This is due to the fact that SDET position as such is pretty rare, and SDET role is performed by specialists in other positions: testing leads, test automation, test analysts, test engineers. In fact, they're looking for SDET, but they call it differently. Demand of the SDET position is mainly from banking and gaming industry. SDETs, just like developers, have steps for career growth. Also, this job can be pretty creative while not being limited by tight deadlines. The level of responsibilities is also highly dependent on the tasks, on the specifics being performed, and the scalability of implemented solutions. But the stress level for this position is way lower than the stress level of a developer or a tester. Needed or not? For the most part, SDET specialists are needed by large companies with a staff of hundreds and thousands of people. They develop complex applications consisting of a significant number of services, each of which is responsible for its own department. In such circumstances, SDET plays a role of a liaison, preparing the basis for developers and testers. Now let's cover the main reasons why primarily large companies are hiring software development engineers in test. Those specialists are quite expensive, and not a lot of companies can afford to hire such specialists. SDET specialists need a large-scale field of activity, architectural complex solutions, multi-component systems. SDET are usually interested in complex and ambitious tasks. The opportunity to test new tools, technologies, this creates certain difficulties in retaining such specialists. since small companies can rarely afford to set such tasks and have extensive modern tools for solving them. Small teams can live without SDET experts. Their projects are much smaller, so the developers themselves can provide a high-quality test coverage without involving heavy artillery. At the same time, the concept of a startup implies existing in the ever-changing environment. One week programmers saw the prototype and next week they are rewriting half of the backend. And it makes no sense for them to spend resources on implementing automation tests. It is much easier to hire 1 or 2 functional manual testers. However, it all depends on the context, how much it will cost to automate it, how often releases are made. Special return on investment calculators can help you to calculate the potential benefits taking into account all parameters. However, here, for the better results, we need historical data on previous projects, and for a startup, this information is likely to be unavailable. Curiously, a few years ago, Microsoft ditched SDET in favor of a combined engineering, where developers test their own code. Such approach is unlikely to be scaled on a bulk of other companies, because combined engineering implies a high level of self-organization, personal responsibility, and professional skills. In any case, there is a shortage of SDET specialists in the market today. Some companies have not been able to find a worthy candidate for this role. Many market participants see the solution of this problem in training their own employees. How to become the SDET? The role of SDET is often taught by QA engineers who've outgrown their tasks and want to dive deeper into technical aspects of testing. Developers are also interested in this area if they want to stop writing code on their own and improve the work of other colleagues. At our school, we offer an advanced course where you can learn all aspects of automation, and after completing this course, you can definitely apply for the SDET position. The range of tasks which SDET solves goes beyond the standard skills of a tester. So during the preparation, we are focusing on development algorithms, data structure, frameworks, and other in-depth technical issues. You will have your own coach who will help you throughout the course. The learning takes place in the format of recorded lectures and weekly meetings, with an analysis of all accumulated questions and drawing up a work plan for the next week. The course program is designed for months. After the course, the specialist can continue to gain experience and become a senior SDET, then SDET team lead, and finally SDET manager. Guys, that will be it for today. Hopefully, you've learned a lot about SDET position, and who knows, maybe in the near future you will try yourself as SDET. Always remember, we're here to help you out. If you have any questions, do not hesitate and contact us. See you soon!